heightened tensions on the southern U.S. border as we learn about an incident last week in which Mexican soldiers briefly detained 2 American service members at gunpoint on the U.S. side of the border.
See, I don't know what y'all heard there, but what I heard there was that Mexico sounds like it needs some motherfucking freedom delivered by the goddamn ton. That's just kind of where I'm at the moment, but you know what? This is Pinoid News. We don't fucking open our mouths without doing some homework first. Let's check this shit the fuck out. Mexican soldiers questioned, disarmed 2 U.S. Army troops in apparent confusion about border location. Incident documents reveal. Alright, so 2 U.S. Army soldiers sat in an unmarked Chevy Tahoe owned by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Protection on the west side of an El Paso County, Texas, County, Texas, colonia known as Las Pampas. It was April 13th, and the Army sergeant and private had set up a hasty observation post north of the Rio Grande River but south of the border fence in U.S. territory. The soldiers were members of B Battery, 1st Battalion, 37th Field Artillery Regiment out of Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington. The unit, part of the Southwest Border Mission Donald Trump first ordered in October 2018, recently had their deployment extended to September. At roughly 2 p.m. local time, the soldiers observed 5 to 6 individuals dressed in green pixelated military camouflage uniforms and carrying weapons which appeared to be FX-05 Chicote, an assault rifle designed and built for the Mexican Armed Forces. The armed men swiftly approached the U.S. service members crossing over from the Mexican side of the Rio Grande into U.S. territory, ordering the soldiers out of their vehicle at gunpoint. What transpired on that afternoon of April 13th near the small town of Clint, Texas, underscores the confusion between the physical location of the border fence and where the geographical U.S.-Mexico border begins and ends. In Texas, the border fence is not aligned perfectly with the topography of the precise location of the U.S.-Mexico border. This creates a buffer zone between the actual, often invisible border and the fence. Additionally, while parts of the Texas border with Mexico are fenced, where am I at? Yeah, let's see here. This creates a buffer zone of often invisible border with a fence. While parts of Texas border and Mexico are fenced, much of it is not because of a variety of issues, including ongoing litigation, private property rights, treaty provisions, and floodplains. Newsweek obtained a copy of the serious incident report generated 30 minutes after Mexican military members briefly detained and held at gunpoint U.S. military service members after believing the U.S. Army soldiers were in Mexican territory, when in fact the Mexican military had unknowingly crossed in the U.S. territory. The report was reviewed by U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Timothy D. Gatlin, the commander of 1st Battalion, 37th Field Artillery Regiment, and briefed the U.S. Army Lieutenant General Jeffrey Buchanan, the commanding general for the U.S. Army North. The U.S. Army soldiers said the Mexican soldiers moved tactically fast on the unmarked CBP vehicle. Army soldiers did not have enough reaction time to activate a 911 emergency on their NanoShout, a cell phone-sized two-way satellite GPS tracking device, which also doubles as an emergency beacon when soldiers are in need of additional U.S. military units. Speaking in Spanish, the Mexican soldiers instructed the sergeant and the private to move to the front of the vehicle, where they were gently searched, according to the incident report. The sergeant's service pistol, the Beretta M9, was removed from its hip by the individuals and thrown inside the unmarked U.S. government vehicle. The U.S. service members reported they did not see any identifiable seals or symbols on the individual's vehicle and could not identify any patches or name tapes on the uniform except for Mexican flags, which means they were probably cartel members. The Deputy Director of Public Affairs for NORAD and U.S. Northern Command, John Cornello, said in a statement to Newsweek on Friday that a joint inquiry by U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the Defense Department revealed the gunmen to be Mexican military members who believed the U.S. Army soldiers were south of the Mexican border. I'll be honest with you, the fuck does it matter? Like, yo niggas was like, yo, seriously, please start a war. We need a reason to throw you motherfucking cocksuckers the fuck out of our country. After a brief discussion between the soldiers from the two nations, the Mexican military members departed the area. The U.S. soldiers immediately contacted CBP, who responded quickly throughout the incident. The U.S. soldiers followed all established procedures and protocols, the statement said. The U.S. service members reported hearing someone from the south side of Yell Vamanos in Spanish. Right, Vamanos is Spanish. The Mexican truck military members went back to their vehicle, described as a dark blue Ford pickup truck with a tactical rack on the back. The Ford pickup truck departed the area heading westbound on the Mexican levee. The U.S. service members did not see any identifiable seals or symbols in the dark blue pickup truck. After the encounter, the service members notified CBP by service radio. The CBP agents responded to their location roughly 10 to 12 minutes after the incident, according to the report. You know, man, you know how it works. You know what I'm saying? Cops is never there when you need them. Once on site, the CBP agents backtracked the footprints of the Mexican military members and determined the individuals entered the U.S. territory about 50 feet north of the Rio Grande River, said the Army's Serious Incident Report. Members of the 1st Battalion, 37th Field Artillery Regiment responded to the location to check on the well-being of their soldiers. Well, let's be honest here. That article didn't really change my motherfucking opinion one way or another. Let's be perfectly real. It sounds like the Mexicans are trying to get froggy. Like, what the fuck gives you the goddamn right to stand here and drag all fucking people the fuck out of their cars and check them like they over here conducting some type of illegal business? Even if we are parked on your fucking land in your country, shouldn't you be out here catching fucking drug lords and dealing with the bullshit you gotta deal with? Don't you have better things to do than to stand here and fucking harass our goddamn service members? I feel like you really legitimately are getting too big for your britches there, Mexico. I don't know if you remember what happened last time you tested us the fuck out, but I'm gonna tell you like this. It did not end well for y'all. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna end well this time neither. I'm pretty sure of it, but I don't want to warn you. I just want you to try it. Like, legit, we need a war in this hemisphere to remind motherfuckers of where the hell they belong. And we need a reason to gather up all these individuals and trebuchet them back into their neck of the woods. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, again, it sounds like you need some freedom brought your way, legitimately. Like, you know what I mean? You should be working with us to help out fucking border security. You legitimately should not be standing here fucking with our goddamn fucking border patrol, even if they are on your neck of the woods. Why are you dragging individuals the fuck out of their car? What type of motherfuckers do you think what type of shit do you think this is? Who do you think you are? Legitimately, who do you think you are, Mexico? Do you understand where you belong in the world totem pole of nations? Like, legitimately, you're our toilet. You need to understand we will shit on you. Keep fucking around and we'll flush y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You ain't nothing but a turd in the bowl, son. Know your position. This is Tom P's of Pinoy News. Holla at y'all.